So we thought we'd give you a rundown on how we clean the kegs. So for this episode, I'm probably going to be the guy on camera most, and hopefully Jesse is going to correct me a whole bunch on all the stuff I do wrong. So this keg it's actually, I bought in a 4-pack from Adventures in Homebrewing, and they're of course a Cornelius ball lock keg. But the kegs themselves, they don't really do anything to them except fill them up with some air, make sure it holds pressure, and if it holds pressure, they ship it off. So usually when I get it, a lot of times these kegs have been sitting under somebody's house for 15 years or in a warehouse or something. A lot of times you'll still find soda in them, like soda syrup, because that's what they're originally used for. So the first thing you should do is when you get it is vent it, take a look inside of it, and rinse the majority of anything that's in it out. Myself, I usually will give it a quick hose down, and then there's usually still stuff caked in there, and it's always at the bottom for me. So I'll put some PBW in there and let it soak for a week or more. So we'll take a look at this one, see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I've rinsed out just about everything that was in it. There's still some stuff in it, like little grainy stuff in it. You can't smell it because we don't have smell-o-vision, but it smells like soda.
So did you just put water in there, or did it have PBW, or?
That was PBW.
PBW,
yeah.
Excellent.
Oops. And try not to spray you.
Hello. Don't spray your phone.
Surprisingly, this one's not too bad.
Yeah, it looked pretty clean when I looked in there. Super exciting action shot.
Oh, watch your feet. Okay. So then I'll get my trusty brush. You probably recognize it for carboy cleaning, but it can do oh so much more.
Hey, Paul, when's the butter gonna be ready?
When's the what?
When's the butter gonna be ready?
If you want to take the time to get these stickers off, they usually peel right off with a fingernail. You could also hit them with a hair dryer or a heat gun, and that'll help loosen them up. Or fill it with hot water the next time you know.
One thing I normally do is I'll give the outside a good cleaning before I ever open it up to clean the inside.
Homebrew Finds has a whole page on how to clean off the outside of a keg using like a heat mat, and they really go all out. I don't personally care that much, but
we'll have to link to that in the show notes.
Yeah.
See? So already it's looking pretty spiffy.
It is. Might almost want to put beer in there.
So not only do we not know how long the keg's been sitting around, but we don't know how long these gaskets have been up there. So I like to replace all the gaskets. You'll usually use, actually I don't know what the Imperial version is, but I always use a 18 millimeter socket and a 7/8. I think this is probably 5/8, right?
I want to say
9/16. I think it is 9/16.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the 9/16, so this one fits.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, if it works.
sometimes they could be a bit of a bear to get off. There we go. There we go.
I've been known to sit on them to get them off.
Well, it's round, so there's nothing to grab onto. It's not like it's got a flat edge.
Yep.
So now I mentioned to Jesse that the posts, actually, let me take them off.
If you look at the gas post, which is in my right hand, you'll notice this ridge. It's not nearly as thick as the ridge on the liquid post. Liquid post is on the left hand. You'll also notice that the gas post has these little lines or indentations on the bottom of the post. The liquid post doesn't have those notches, which makes it easy to tell them apart.
So I'll take those off. But like I said, if you're not really good at it, what you can do is just keep it all together. You know, so I'm going to keep gas on one side and liquid on the other. Okay, so I'll have my little brush. Use this. So usually I'll hit the opening with the little brush just to clean it out some, or just to clean it out, period. And I always kind of look at the brush to see how it looks. So that looks pretty clean, pretty much the same color it went in as. Okay, and then we can do the same with the gas post, or I'm sorry, with the liquid post. Give the outside a nice scrub. Yeah, this keg did okay.
I haven't really run into too many really grody ones from those guys, so.
Yeah, I bought some off of Craigslist that have been pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Rinsing it out.
I feel like Happy Gilmore over here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the same on the gas post. Am I missing anything so far, Jesse?
Nope. Not at all. So, let's see here. Nope, never mind. Nope.
Okay. And, you know, I always like to hit the top of it with a sponge, just in case.
Yeah. Couldn't hurt.
And like I said, normally what you want to do is put this stuff in sanitizer while you're going. So I didn't bring a couple, or we didn't get a couple bowls of sanitizer, but I usually fill them all the way up anyway and pump the sanitizer out. Yeah. And it's going to spend a little while on my awesome Mark II keg washer.
There you go.
So, okay, so the next step is the gaskets. So one thing I wanted to point out is that from my understanding, these gaskets on the right, you'll notice they're all the same black color, all the smaller gaskets. And the gaskets on the left, these are all two blacks, two colored.
Oh, that's fancy.
So it's my understanding that the colored ones are for ball pin lock kegs, and that this one's actually the ball lock keg.
I don't know.
Slightly different sized.
Okay.
So let's pull them out.
I will say that anytime I've had issues with leaking kegs around the posts,
always been the colored gaskets.
Oh,
yeah, see, this is slightly bigger, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, it is.
But if you eyeball it.
Maybe. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know if I've ever run into that.
I just thought, hey, the one's fancy, one's not.
Yeah.
So, wait.
So we were talking about the difference between the gas and the liquid. So what Mike had said was about the notches, but this is also a way I can tell is that some of my kegs have this star hex or lug on there.
Yeah.
So the problem is that you need a special socket for that. So I think I have. Nope, that's the wrong one.
Yeah. Well, it's just the multi or 16 point or whatever.
Yeah, as long as you get the
get
the 16 point, that's fine. But if you use like a wrench or something, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Right. So, but anyway, just thought I'd point that out.
Nice.
One more thing, real quick. Mike had also mentioned that these are both the kegs that we have been talking about are ball locks. So you might have a pin lock, and that's because they have these little pins on them. Obviously, they're not compatible with each other. And the connects have these little gewgaws on there. I don't know what you call them, but they would fit on over those over the pins. But the nice thing about that is that you can't put the liquid on the gas and the gas on liquid because they're keyed differently.
Yeah.
So anyway, just wanted to point that out as well.
Nice. Yeah, on the ball locks, you definitely can.
Yeah.
The gas. I mean, it won't go all the way on unless you really try, but once you do, it's a pain in
I
the
was
butt to
just
get
saying,
off.
yeah, getting them on is a lot easier than getting
Get
them
them
off.
off, yeah. So on the gasket here, each of the liquid or the air tubes have a gasket under here. So I just pull those off. And then I'll run a new one almost all the way up. And then leave it just with a little space. And I'll do the same over here. I was just looking to see what I did with that other gasket because I want to make sure I didn't put it in my kit.
Oh yeah, I think it fell in the garbage.
Okay.
So
So same thing, I'm just going to run it up most of the way. And then on the lid, this is a good one, like we're saying, soak in PVW, because you got the safety valve here, or the pressure release valve. You just kind of lift it up and turn it so it stays open, and then run fluid through it, or let it sit in PVW so it comes clean.
I go so far as to remove it and soak
Take
it
the
in there.
PVW, or take the
Take
thing
the
out?
take it, just unscrew it. Just unscrews. Yep.
I don't think I washed that. So feel free to point out any mistakes we're making
Yeah.
in the video. So we need to clean out right
Yep.
there. I bought some silicone straws and I bought some stainless steel straws at one point, and both of them came with a nice set of really tiny brushes, and I use those a lot at home. Lube. The lube is really good. Especially here in Colorado, our plastics dry out really fast and they get brittle. So what I'll do with the post is I'll put a little bit of lube underneath it and around there, and then roll the gasket up, and then put a little more on the outside of the gasket. It was on my finger. I just kind of rolled it around on there. And I'll do the same on the liquid post. Just put a little lube around the top of it and slide the gasket up. And put a little more on the outside as well. And then those are ready to go back in. Okay. Now we were talking before we started that I always have trouble with these gaskets because I can never get them to come off. And I bought a set of replacement gaskets, and it came with a little plastic tool. But what I got here is just a little dental cleaning tool. It's still not easy. This one's really hard. I don't want to cut my finger off on camera. There we go.
Yeah. See, that happens to me too.
Man. Try this side. It's cutting through it at least as I go. There we go. Yeah, that one didn't want to come off at all.
Oh yeah, that was stuck on
And
there.
you can see this tool. It's got a nice, flat side hook on each side.
Yeah.
So it's not too tough to get under there. That one's going to pop right off. I used to use just a regular knife, but I kept scarring up the post. I didn't like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to jack up my knives either. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This post looks a little dented, actually. Both of them look dented.
I was noticing that. I didn't know if that was how they were manufactured or if they were dropped or something.
I assume they were dropped.
Yeah.
And same thing, I'll put a little lube on the inside of it. Or sometimes I'll even just roll the gasket in my finger.
That's usually what I wind up doing, just because it's, yeah, I just do that. A lot easier to put on than take off.
Yep. And every time I wash the keg, I'll try to put a little bit of lube on the outside of the poppets, or on the outside of here.
Yeah.
And this way, because most of when you hear people have a keg that leaked and they lost all their beer, it's usually because the liquid post, the gasket's not making a seal on the disconnect, and it just runs down the side. Same with empty air tanks. I mean, it can leak from other places too, but that's a common place for it to leak. The other thing's the poppets. I never like these poppets. So if you take them out, they usually pop right out, but hence the name. I don't know if you can get replacement gaskets for that, and I haven't had a whole lot of luck with them. So I take them out. I still save them, but I use these universal poppets. It's basically just a spring with a little head on it. Probably more than I needed. Maybe I won't dip this one in the lube quite so much. I could use as much as I want, though. It's Jesse's.
I was going to say, you owe me some lube.
So the only disadvantage that I found with the universal poppets is if you pressurize the keg to like 40 or 50 psi, sometimes the gasket will start coming out of the hole. The other thing is when you're putting the poppet down on the, where it screws onto, you have to actually push down on it to get it to thread the first couple. So I'm looking for my lines, and I'm putting the air post on the air side. Should have set that down right there. I'm sure that won't go. Yep. It can be a little tricky when your fingers are all slippery with lube. Okay, there we go. That one's on there. And you can get the universal poppets on Amazon pretty inexpensively. Check your local homebrew store first, though. Oh, jumping Jehoshaphat. That one's really tough. Did I get that lined up right? No. Okay, there we go. And usually it tightens. It doesn't really get more and more resistance. It just is loosely tightens until it stops. And then just don't force it any farther than that. Oh, I think that came off. Yep, came off.
Oh.
Darn universal poppets. What was Mike thinking when he told me to put these on? I'll tell you, I have a lot fewer problems with leaks from the poppets with those.
Really?
So yeah,
Huh,
because there's really a lot of force behind them.
Oh. Yeah, that looked like a pretty sturdy spring.
Yeah. There we go. And then finally, for this one, for the lid, I'll put a little lube on the bottom, or just on the lip here where the gasket sits. Oh, and this is food grade lube, by the way, food grade lubricant, and you can pick up at your homebrew store. Before I bought a little cup like this, I had a really large tube of it that is what I found at my local store, and it lasts forever. You won't regret putting some of this on your gaskets. You probably will regret not doing it though.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Okay. Well, fortunately, I think with that gasket there, you know pretty quickly if you need lube or not.
Yeah.
You know, because you try pressurizing and you hear it hissing and like, oh, or it is depressurized in an hour and you go back to check it. And like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, that's what it is.
Well, the lid is always strange to get on there because even if it's perfectly fine and lubed up, sometimes it won't seal.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I usually end up doing is I'll unlock it and sit it in the hole and then pressurize the keg and lift it up.
Yeah.
And that'll kind of wiggle it where it needs to go and then lock it. But yeah.
I usually wind up, when I put the lid back on, is I'll pull up on the PRV and use that to kind of seat it.
Yep.
Just like that.
There we go.
That's it.
That's it.
So, yeah, awesome. Sanitize.
Yep, sanitize. Like I said, I usually fill it up with sanitizer. I'll pump it in, pump it out. I'll definitely put this one on the keg washer for a while, make sure it gets sanitized. Keg, you know, to be honest with you, if you don't let them run dry, they're really easy to clean after the first, you know, the initial reconditioning. So it's something I dread doing. I was like, oh, I got to clean a keg, but you get 5 or 6 of them, you can knock them out in no time flat. You just kind of get into a rhythm.
So, yeah, sanitize it, fill with delicious beer, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Literally rinse and repeat.
So if you're interested, if you have any feedback, if you want to tell us what we did wrong or the way you do it, go ahead and let us know in the comments. And you might have noticed this sweet shirt, Colorado Brew Talk. So we've got a account on T Republic if you want to get one of your own. They come in different designs and colors and logos. Let me show you Jesse's. This one's got our slogan on it. It's not a drinking problem, it's research. That's a popular one.
Yeah. At least it is in my household.
So, but otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching and we'll see you later. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for watching our video. Check out our website at coloradobrewtalk.com for more great content.
While you're there, be sure to leave us a comment or drop us a line with your thoughts.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at CO Brew Talk, or follow the links below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content.
Or episodes, as the case may be. Got some crazy eyebrow hair going.
Me? I know.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Oh, you do or
I do.
No, I do. Every day.
Same eyebrow.
Yeah.
Like you can see this one.
When you were doing that, I thought you were doing it
no.
subtle. That's why I was...
No,